Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Grant Ellis. I'm the host, also the founder of Ellis Retirement Services. In case you don't know, we help people prepare and plan for retirement. It's pretty obvious by the name, but just want to make sure. And today, we are talking about the 3 things that you have to have in retirement that have nothing to do with money, which sounds crazy coming from a financial advisor, but dealing with people that retire day after day after day for 20 years, you learn some things. And one of the things that I have learned over the last 20 years plus is that people sometimes handle all of the financial elements of their retirement. They forget about all the other stuff. So I'm going to talk about the 3 things, the 3 Ps we call them at Ellis Retirement Services that you need to have in your retirement quote-unquote plan to make sure that you live the life of retirement that you want to and that you don't wallow and float around and not have any purpose or anything like that. So, number 1, sounds super cliche, but you need purpose. And here, we're going to get all touchy-feely here for a little while. Retirement can be an amazing stage. It can also be one of the most difficult stages of your life if you don't have any purpose. So everybody probably knows someone who has waited their entire life. They worked at a company for 50 years. They get to that day, they turn 65 or whatever age they decide they want to stop working, and they stop working and they go home, and then their spouse goes, so hey, what are you going to do now? And they're like, I don't have any idea. They have no purpose, and purpose is very, very important in life. And we're not going to get super meta and detailed and all wooey gooey here, but you have to have some kind of purpose, whatever it is. And that can be a hard thing to figure out when you're in retirement. If you have faith, you can go that direction. If you have some kind of cause that you like, you can go that direction. So one of the things we do when we help people prepare for retirement is help them identify their purpose. And there's an easy saying that I heard from Naval Ravikant, I believe, so got to give him credit, but it was God, mission, or kids, pick one. And listen, I kind of like that. It's like, listen, you got to have something, right? So some people lean into their grandkids or their kids' activities. Some people are believers and have faith and dive into their faith and their relationship with God and church and everything that comes with that. And other people have some kind of mission that they attach to, whether it's save the whales or environmentally friendly stuff or helping sick kids or whatever it is. You've got to have something that you can work towards and for in retirement, or otherwise you will end up most likely in a bad place because we're only meant to sit around and do nothing with no purpose for so long. It typically doesn't go well if you don't have one. So number 1, purpose. Have a purpose for what you're going to do when you're in retirement. Number 2, people. We are people. And along with a purpose, you have to have people that you're going to be spending time with. As human beings, we are not created to hang out alone and by ourselves in isolation and solitude. And sometimes that sounds great. If you've been working at the water cooler for 50 years and you're sick of listening to stories and birthday party things and you're sick of Jeans Fridays and the people that you're forced to hang out with, that might sound nice, but isolation is only good for a tiny bit of time. And then all of a sudden, again, you begin to wither away. And it might be emotionally, it might be physically even, it might be mentally, but you have to have your people. And the interesting part about the lead up to retirement and the transition into retirement is oftentimes you have a stage of life where you are extremely busy, especially if you have children. So as they are getting older and you're involved in all the sports things. So for me, I right now have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, and every day is pure chaos and mayhem, right? So it's what practice are we going to? Are we going to cheer? Are we going to baseball? Are we going to a baseball tournament? Do we have a church event? Like, what do we have to do? We just drive everywhere. And now, as I'm getting a little bit older and a little bit closer to retirement, although it's a long way away, I'm starting to think more and more about what I'm going to do once my kids are out of the house. Because that's important, because that big slot of chaos, busyness, and time is going to change. And so when you enter retirement, it's the same thing. Like, all of the normal functionalities, the normal rhythms of your life are going to change. And you need to make sure that you have people in your life that you can spend time with, pour into, and just like, listen, have friends, right? It sounds really obvious, but a lot of people don't have good, close, deep friendships and relationships once they get into the retirement period. And you need that. We've had clients that have moved off to their dream location only to find that they were extremely lonely. And loneliness is as detrimental to your physical, mental, and emotional health as any kind of disease. So just know you've got to have, number 1, your purpose. Number 2, your people. Okay? People is very, very important. And then last but not least of the 3 Ps, the 3 things that you need in retirement that have nothing to do with money, you have to have a plan. And I'm not talking about a financial plan. Oh, that's extremely important. Don't sleep on the financial plan. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in helping people plan for, into, and through retirement. I think it's extremely important. The plan I'm talking about is the plan of what you're actually going to do on a day-to-day basis. So here's what I mean. We've talked about people and purpose, and those things are great. Let's say you have both of those in place. You need to have a plan, a weekly plan of what you're going to do that integrates those elements. So right now, if you're working and you are thinking about retirement, right now, every single day you have has some sort of plan, right? You have a job, whether it's remote or in person in an office. You have a rhythm of your day that you're going to handle. And you're going to get up and you're going to do your things in the morning, and then you're going to maybe do breakfast, and then you're going to go into the office, or you're not, or you're going to log onto your computer and check your emails. Ooh, I hate emails. Or you're going to check your Slack, or you're going to send some messages, and then you're going to have lunch with friends from work, and then there's a whole rhythm to your day that is structured around work. And although that might not be what your day is going to look like anymore, you need to know what it is going to look like. Because even if you have people and a purpose, if you don't have a plan for integrating those things into your life, then you're going to struggle, and it's going to take you a long time to get your footing and feel like you have a good rhythm in retirement. So I have a client who did this, I think, really, really well. This person had both people and a purpose, and they had a specific plan every single day. They had a framework for what they were going to do. So one day it might be working at the nonprofit that they had started to pour their life into, which again, that connects both people and purpose. And then another day it was going to be yard work and things around the house to keep the house moving. The next day it was going to be golf, and then it was going to be lunch with friends. And then the next day it was going to be back to the nonprofit. And then the last day it was going to be, hey, that's close to the weekend. I'm going to see if the kids need any help taking the grandkids to sports events and things like that. And so it's not a rigid plan. It's not a, hey, I've got to be here and do this by 8 a.m. But it is some form of framework, an outline, if you will, that says, hey, during my week, I have a lot of flexibility now, which is awesome, but I'm going to put a few basic things in place of my initial plan of what I'm going to do with my time. You have to allocate your time to something. If you allocate your time to nothing, you're going to get bored, you're going to get lonely, you're going to get distressed, and you're going to wither away, quite frankly. And we've seen it happen. So, just to summarize, the 3 things that you need in retirement that have nothing to do with money, although I guess everything technically has to do with money because all of these things are integrated, but you need a people, a purpose, and a plan, okay? People, purpose, and a plan. And this is how we approach this with clients. And they always think, like, wait, we're talking about this kind of stuff? And we're like, yeah. Like, we're here to help you plan for the retirement that you want to have, whether you're 40 or 65. And what that means for us is we see this on the other side. We see the negative consequences of not having these things in place. So we take it as part of our responsibility as financial planners, financial advisors, investment advisors to help you walk through these elements and then coordinate it all with your finances to make it work the way you want to. So what I encourage people to do is, honestly, as soon as you're starting to think about retirement, so that might be 10 years out, it might be 5 years out. You don't really want to wait till like the day before and then try to figure all this out. But you want to start to just give yourself some room to think about these things. Who are my people? Who are going to be my people when I'm in retirement and I don't have to work anymore, and my work friends might not necessarily be in my life? What's my purpose? My work and my family have been my purpose. Those things are still there maybe, but they're going to change. So am I having other work that I have purpose in? Am I connecting with my faith or a nonprofit or an organization or what? Or is it going to be my kids and my family and my grandkids? That's fine too, but what is my purpose going to be? And then how am I going to put all of this together and have a plan for my day-to-day living in retirement so that I can have a vibrant and full and abundant retirement and not languish and become isolated and lonely, because it's just not good for your health in any capacity. So I encourage you to think about that sooner rather than later. And when you get to that point, these are the kind of things you want to be talking to an advisor about. Is yes, we're going to talk about investments and asset allocations and taxes and all of that fun stuff. But it only really matters if you're connecting it to a deeper sense of something. And for most people, that's people, plan, and purpose. So I encourage you to start thinking about that early. Sooner rather than later is always better. The more planning time you have, the better. And if you have any questions at all, you can feel free to shoot us an email, EllisTeam@LPL.com. That's EllisTeam@LPL.com. Or hit us up on LinkedIn, Facebook, websites, all the things. Love to talk to you and love to answer any questions that you might have. Hope this was helpful. See you next time.